Hello, hello, hello. This is Tiffany with Healthy Passions. If you do not know me, let me briefly introduce myself. I am a certified personal trainer, certified wellness coach, certified energy healer by birth, and I'm an oracle prophetess and a natural healer. I do apologize in advance for the sound. I've been having trouble with my device that connects to the phone for my mic, so I may have to get another one. It's been going in and out lately, so hopefully just using my regular phone recorded voice is loud enough. I know that I sometimes am very soft spoken. This is me trying to speak very, very loud. But I'm a very soft spoken person unless I'm extremely excited. But with all that said, let's just get to it. So we're going to do part 3 of the Black Boule video. And remember, I said I may do some extra unscheduled videos because it's a lot of information, and the Most High was like flooding me with information and I wanted to get it out. And he was saying, like, before we get to modern day, there's a lot more that kind of happened. So he kind of wants me to touch base on some of those things that happened and then work my way up. So this is one of the unscheduled videos the Most High was talking about. All right, so we left off with Adam and Eve being kicked out of the garden. Adam, Eve, and the serpent man, or the men with the DNA of Satan. They were judged after being kicked out of the garden. They call it the fall of man. They were judged righteously, and they took their punishment. And as I said, Eve later on came to a point to where she repented and kept her connection with the Most High. And Adam never did. He just grew bitter and resented the woman. And the serpent man didn't like either one. He caused the whole thing, never took accountability, but his real issue was also with the woman. Okay, so here we are. So number one, the first thing I want to bring up is the Hebrew Israelites knew the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28 curses as far back as brother Enoch. So in the book of Enoch, it talks about these curses where we are in modern day time. He had the gift of prophecy, very, very strong, and his prophecy went way out up until today's time. He wasn't the only brother with that type of prophecy, but Enoch was very, very far reaching in his prophecies. So we knew about 1942 in the Deuteronomy 28 curses thousands of years before Adam and Eve came about. We have known about it for a long time. So I want to get that point across first. And so when they came to, so when the Gentile nations in 1492 came to our shores, we knew about the prophecies, and we knew that once we saw those ships, that the curses were coming. So what happened when they came to our shores, some of the blacks that were there, or the Hebrew Israelites that were there, decided to sell out for better treatment, right? So they decided to help them overthrow, help them oppress, help them with information, tell them our ways, tell them our secrets and things like that, in order to get better treatment than what was to come in the curses. The curses were pretty thick, and as seen in history, no other race of people have been through as much as we have. So they weren't easy curses. So they wanted to kind of soften the blow. They couldn't stop the Most High, but they wanted to soften the blow. They wanted an easy ride through the curses. All right. So keep that in mind. So each captivity that we went through that was documented in the Bible, remember that each one was prophesied, and then once it happened, it was well documented, including this last one, right? So Yah's people were holy in the Holy Land, right? So they teach us that holy, to confuse you, that means divine, this, and that. No, the true etymology of the word holy means set apart or separate, right? Set apart is what it means. So what we're really saying, if we were to translate it correctly into English, is Yah's people were set apart in a set apart land. Okay? And that makes it very simple, and brings into perspective the Bible in a whole new light, right? So we were set apart. In the part that we were in, Gentiles could not get to easily, all right? We were the fourth part. So if you break the world down into 4 parts, there's 3 parts where the Gentiles lived, and then the 4th part was our land. We had the largest territory, the best lands, and they call it the Holy Land, right? Or the land of milk and honey. Why was it called the land of milk and honey? Because we had the best lands. We had the most produce that was produced. We had a variety of food sources. The land produced well for us, right? And other places did not have that luxury of that. Maybe Africa, but still not as good as the land here. A lot of the foods that Africa is now known for came from here. All right. So it was not originally, not all the stuff that they grow were originally there. Okay. So that's why they call it the land of milk and honey. Now, the 4th part includes both of the Americas, North and South, the Americas. These are the modern day names, the fake territories that they created. So we have the Americas, North and South, Canada, Europe, and all of Asia. All right, that's where our people were in the 4th part, set apart from the other nations. So the moment we saw 83 or the Gentile nations hit our shores, we knew that we were headed into the curses. We just knew. We fought for a while, but we knew it was futile, that eventually they would overthrow us, because that was the prophecy. Thousands of years before their arrival in 1942, we knew what was coming. All right. So the Gentile nations were denied access to us in our lands until Yah allowed it in 1942. They made a demonic covenant with their father, Satan, to destroy our people, to the point of there being no memory of our nation. All right. So this is scripture. You know that if you read scripture, you know what I'm talking about. Get into your Bible and study. Now, the Catholic Church is the church that was the Antichrist, that created a one world religion that searched out and hunted Yah's people to the ends of the earth. No matter where we ran to, no matter where we came from or went to try to avoid them, they came to find us. They had the blessing to do so because we were, as a whole, as a collective, in sin. And the Most High warned us, he warned us, he warned us, and we continued as a collective. Not all, very few, just like now today. Very few of us kept the laws. Very few of us stayed loyal to the Most High. Even just like today, there's not much. It's so little of us, it's called a remnant, okay? Just like then before. So majority of us were, out of line, worshiping other gods, interacting with other nations, like, just doing what we were doing that caused the Most High to turn his face from us. Now, they would hunt us down to the ends of the earth. Even when we fled to Africa for refuge to hide, they would come there and get us. It didn't matter where we went. That's where they would come, right? So it was the New World Order in 1942. We were in charge. ruling, we were able to leave our lands and go wherever we wanted to. We taught and we took our customs and everything to every part of the world. Now, all of the things that Christians are taught to be waiting for in their doctrine already happened. The mark of the beast, the reign of mystery Babylon, even the rapture has already happened. The Catholic Church is the beast system church. It is a satanic church that is in control of all the other sectors, no matter what religion. If it's a modern religion now, it is under the authority of the Vatican, which is the Catholic Church. Okay, it doesn't matter what you call it. They pretend to be against each other in doctrine and in politics, but really they're all ruled by the same entity, which is that beast system church, right? So, with that being said, before knowledge of the curses started, okay, so before all of this happened in 1942, from the time of the fall of man, when Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, up until 1942, these black devils already betrayed Eve's remnant, her daughters, black women, Hebrew women who were still in connection with the Most High, still walking with Him, still being provided for by Him, still given ancient sacred knowledge by Him, right? So black men are it. This is what I agree with the white man on this, or Gentile man on this. Can't just blame everything on them, because our men did it way before they even came into the picture. That part is true. Not saying that they're right in what they have done, but everyone needs to be held accountable. The black man has hidden behind the Gentile nations as if he didn't himself betray us first. And he did it for a long period of time. Now, when they were kicked out of the garden, and like I said, Eve repented and kept a relationship with the Most High God. Adam did not, and neither did the serpent, right? So they came into covenant against Eve after a while because she was becoming too powerful. She had political power, religious power. She was too powerful, and we call that the time of the matriarch, right? So Adam wanted his throne back, and he wanted to be head, even though he was not worthy at the time. And the Most High continued to elevate the woman of our people. And so what they do, they were men, so they couldn't outsmart us. They couldn't outdo us spiritually, so they physically oppressed us. And that's where it started. That is that gender war that you still see today. They oppressed their own woman. And then when they traded and did things with other nations, they would sell these civils who were connected to the Most High. They would sell them into slavery, them and their children into slavery with the Gentile nations. Now, it was common knowledge worldwide that the Hebrew Israelite woman was still in connection. And if you had her, it was a very powerful chess move in the world stage, right? If you have her, she can make things move because she has connection to the Most High. Now, it is not to say that none of the men had connection to the Most High. Very few. Most of the men sold out and went into these secret societies and betrayed their people. But there is a remnant of the men who stayed loyal to the Most High, stayed following the commandments, and stayed on their post protecting the black woman or the Hebrew woman. They stayed on that. So we have a sector of men who have always stayed with their women, never betrayed us. They respected and loved us and protected us. So those Hebrew men that you see that still love, and those are a part of the remnant of those, and those are the Most High's men. Okay, there's not many of them left, but those are the Most High's men, right? Now, that small remnant was all of men were also betrayed by the other men of our people. They said, "Join us, or we'll kill you." And that's been the war. They are overtaken by the majority of the other men and could not protect all the women and the children. And that's not their fault. And I still honor and love and respect them, because to this day they stand up for us, they protect us, they love us, and they're very good and respectful towards us. They respect our knowledge, they respect our status, they respect who we are in the Most High. Now, we're just outnumbered, because you got to understand that a lot of the women followed the other men and stayed submissive to them because they didn't want to be treated like the Sibyls, all right? So they betrayed their own sisters. All right, so I got off track. Let me get back on my notes a little bit. So once they entered our shores, we knew we were hitting the Deuteronomy 28 curses, right? The whole chapter. If you want to know what the curses and the blessings are, go to Deuteronomy 28. Read the whole chapter. All right. So at first, before 1942, the Gentile nations were denied access to us in our lands until Yah allowed it in 1942. They made a demonic covenant with their father, Satan, to destroy our people, to the point of there's no memory of our nations. And they did this through military, the Catholic Church, and the banking system. Okay? Now, the Antichrist that there's many Antichrists, but the Antichrist that most people are speaking of, that they think they're waiting for, is the Catholic Church, the Vatican. All right, so we have that new world order that came through, and we've been going through that for the last couple of 100 years, right? All right, so at least 400 to 500 years, right? So before, like I said, we knew we knew that the curses were coming. So when they came, they made this treaty with them to have a softer blow in the curses in the world that was to come, to subdue our people worldwide. So they helped them. They betrayed us. All right. Give me a second. So once those treaties and demonic contracts were made, there you have the creation of the original Black Boule, the top 10% of men. First, it was an all-boys club because they resented women, right? Over time, they created female sectors like the Eastern Stars and sororities and things like that over time, right? Because before the Gentiles came in 1942, a lot of the black men betrayed the woman to try to get her throne, to get her status and her power and her gifts that the Most High gave her, for staying connected with him. All right. So originally, before the fall of man, we were equal, right? We had equal power, equal, everything. But since the fall of man, they lost that, and the only way that they can obtain it was through the woman. So they figured if they overtake the woman, then they can control and get their power back. Once the Gentiles came through, they knew that both the man and the woman were going to be subdued by these nations. So they decided, okay, well, we'll betray the woman again just to get perks and power and political status. It never worked. If you notice, the Hebrew or the black men or the Hebrew men of today, they never got power back. You can't make a deal with the devil and expect for him to pull through. They are still the lowest on the spectrum of men. They never got what they were promised, yet they still in thousands sign these demonic contracts for money and power. But they never got what they were promised. All right. So the war that you're seeing is not necessarily a race war. What it is a war to control who oppresses and controls the black or Hebrew woman. Because even to this day, most of us still have direct contact. Most of us are still loyal to the Most High, right? And we still have that oracle ability. And we are still blessed with sacred knowledge and just knowledge in general. We are the top in all the education groups. We are the face behind the face of most successful companies, science, innovative technology, black men too, but and the ones that have stayed connected to the Most High for the most part. But we are the face behind it. Why do you think every election, for the most part, they say black people don't matter, forget us, we're trash, we're this, we're that, right? But every election, they want the black vote. But not just the black vote, they want the black woman's vote. Okay? So think about that and see why. Open up your eyes and see what's really going on around you, right? Spiritually and physically. So everything happens in the spiritual first, and then it happens in the physical. So, black woman, Hebrew woman, if you vote, you are giving them permission to oppress you again. We're not doing it anymore. That's why things are changing, because we left their churches by the hundreds of thousands, which describes the true rapture of the Bible. That is the rapture that they misteach about, us leaving this Babylonic system in high numbers, right? So we are not going to give them the permission by voting for them to oppress us longer and to stay in power. They have totally ruined America. They have ruined all government systems. They have ruined the world. They have trashed the world. They were piss poor hosts. They were piss poor leaders and totally ignorant. They know nothing but war. All they are warmongers, right? All right, so let me get back to my notes. So that Boule type system, secret societies of black men trying to overthrow black women to stay in power and betray all of our people, that started way before the Gentiles hit the scene, right? So whether they either did it knowingly or unknowingly, when they joined these secret brotherhoods of black men, they were confederate with the Gentile nations against Yah's people, therefore marking themselves as an enemy of the Most High Yah, period. Whether they know it or not, these men field orders, sold our civils and the children of our civils into slavery before the Gentile nations overthrew us in this last slavery captivity. They did it way before. Why did they do the children? Because whether that civil bore a male or a female child, for the most part, our gifts are genetically passed down. Like, I am an example that I am a civil. I have 2 sons, and they have all of my gifts. Okay? So it didn't matter if it was a male or a female child, but especially if it was a female child, she was going to be definitely powerful. But even if you had a male child, the possibility of him having your gifts is high because these are genetically passed. Okay? Now, these boys only club secret societies betrayed black women long before the Gentiles came into the picture, and it was all because of jealousy of her status, power, and spiritual ranking. Basically, because she repented, she stayed connected, and they wanted that back. They weren't going to get it back unless they repented. And instead of repenting, they came in covenant. They stayed in sin for a long time, and then they became in covenant with Satan's seed. All right? So, number 6, this is the last point of this video. The true war is not necessarily a gender war. It is a war to get access and control over the black or the Hebrew woman, who is the strongest connect to the Most High at this point, right? They wanted our throne. And it is what it is. Now, like I said, the men that stayed connected with the Most High are still in their full spiritual power, just like the Hebrew woman. They have the same abilities. We are equal. So one is not ever better than the other when we're in our right state of mind, right? When we're in good status with the Most High. So the man is not over the woman, and the woman's not over the man when it comes to spiritual gifts, power, and political things. We have different roles, yes, but we are equal. So don't think that it's men that don't have this. They do. Okay? And you will know them by their fruits. You'll know them by their spirits, right? A good example of this that a lot of people would know, look at Big Judah and Big Levi. They speak highly of our women. They respect and know our power, and not in a jealous way. They honor our women. That's a good example. My sons are that way as well. I know men that are like that within our group, in our fold. All right? So, that's all I can say on this video. I'm going to maybe do another video later, but most likely going to wait until tomorrow and finish the story, because we got to get to the modern day. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great night.